At a time when display sizes on Android flagships are growing rapidly, and with the larger iPhone doing well too, Apple's come out with the iPhone SE, a throwback to days past, a smaller, more handy iPhone, a special edition refresh of the 5S for anyone still holding on to it for the form factor. So, how does this new iPhone fare? Well, let's find out. But before we do, if this is your first time here, or if you think it's my first time here, well, I know it's been a while, but I'll be back full time soon. Anyway, my name's Ash, this is C4E Tech, and you're watching my full review of the iPhone SE. Let's get started. See the phone I'm using? You'd be forgiven for thinking that's an iPhone 5 or 5S because the SE is built exactly the same. It's not similar, but it's almost a 1:1 replica. Yeah, the chamfered edges are matte instead of reflective, the Apple logo to the back, there's even a rose gold option now. But for the most part, the dimensions, the weight, the way it feels in hand, it's all exactly the same. So if you weren't a fan of the 5S's form factor, stop watching now. I mean it. Give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share the video, do all that, and get out of here. Because nothing I'm gonna say is gonna change your mind if you're already not a fan of the 5S's form factor. Because the form factor plays a huge part with regards to the allure of the iPhone SE. So, if you are somebody who already liked the form factor, or if you like me are one of the very few who have never used the iPhone 5 or a 5S but do like smaller displays, then the SE is great. It's not perfect. 3 years is a huge time in mobile technology, so would I have liked to see Apple utilize the advancement in technology and say improve the screen to body ratio or say shave a few millimeters of the bezels? Definitely. But it is what it is, and while that's not perfect, the design's still pretty damn good. And if you're tired of the design, you can always add a skin like I did. Slick Wraps have a decent collection. Check them out, I'll leave a link in the description. So let's now move on to the similarities the iPhone SE shares with the 6S. Just like the 6S, the SE sports an Apple A9 SoC with 2 gigs of RAM. So the performance is as good as on the 6S, and theoretically, the SE even holds the advantage when it comes to GPU intensive tasks, since the PowerVR GT7600 GPU has fewer pixels to push. Others like NFC for Apple Pay, Wi-Fi AC, Bluetooth Low Energy all make their way over from the 6S. Another important update is the 6S's 12 megapixel rear camera. I'm sure you've heard a lot about this camera, so I'm gonna try to keep this short. It's very quick to focus, takes great images, accurate colors, retains a lot of details, decent low light photography, even live photos is present, but given that the SE doesn't have Force Touch or a Taptic engine, it's triggered by a long press. 4K video recordings also present, and the footage captured is very good. Now, let's move on to the features that haven't made their way over to the SE from the 6S, or rather, things the SE shares in common with the almost 3-year-old 5S. So, on that note, let's get back to the cameras. The front-facing camera, the 1.2 megapixel shooter found on the 5S, makes a return here. 1.2 megapixels. Samsung's Galaxy J2, 2 megapixels. iPhone SE, 1.2 megapixels. Yeah, it does have the screen flash, the improved image processing, but still it's 1.2 megapixels. Jokes apart, that's okay for Skype and FaceTime, but for selfies, not so much. Then there's Touch ID. The SE uses the first generation Touch ID, and while that felt fast back in 2013 when it debuted, now in 2016, given the competition that we are used to, it feels a tad slow. It still is accurate and gets the job done, but if you are coming from any phone with a fingerprint sensor from last year, you're gonna notice the difference in speed. Another spec that remains unchanged since the iPhone 5S is that display. So we have the same 4-inch IPS LCD display with a resolution of 640 by 1136. Of course, that translates to 326 pixels per inch, the Retina resolution most iPhone users are used to. So it's sharp enough, colors are okay, and it gets decently bright. At times, it definitely does feel like older tech because, well, it is. The difference in contrast and viewing angles are especially noticeable when you put it side by side with the 6S. That said, this is still a decent display that gets the job done. The one thing unique to the iPhone SE, something that it doesn't share with either the 5S or the 6S, is the battery capacity. At 1624 mAh, the iPhone SE sports a 5% smaller capacity battery than the 6S. But thanks to the combination of the efficient A9 chip and a smaller display with fewer pixels, the battery on the iPhone SE seems to outperform the one on the 6S by about 15-20%. I had few issues getting through a day on a single charge on most of the days that I use this as my primary device. So I did use it for about a week, at least a week, 10 days. So my favorite part though, I was actually surprised that I liked this so much. My favorite part was that this phone charged really quickly over USB. I use a lot of Android phones, and given that Android phones these days sport batteries, like huge batteries, like 3000, 4000 mAh batteries, charging them via USB, that just doesn't happen anymore. I mean, connected to a PC and charge it, that just doesn't work. It takes ages compared to quick charge. But with the SE, I loved how I could just leave it plugged onto my PC for a few hours and boom, 100%. It's not a feature exclusive to the SE. It isn't intended to be a slight against Android phones. This is just me wanting to share a simple fact about the SE that I liked a lot, and I was actually surprised that I did. So overall, the user experience here on the iPhone SE is great. Apple's updated things that they felt were important, while cutting corners on others that they felt won't really be missed. So what you get is almost a 6S in a 5SS body. And that's not bad. In markets where the SE is priced closer to the 5S than the 6S, the SE does seem alluring, especially to those wanting to stick to the smaller form factor. But in a market like India, Apple's pricing is just nuts. The SE is priced twice as high as the 5S. Hell, the iPhone 6 is cheaper. But take the price out of the equation, and the SE is a phone that I highly recommend, because when was the last time you saw a phone, let alone a flagship, with a 4-inch display? The one that comes the closest is the Xperia Z5 Compact, and even that has a 4.6-inch display, and that's closer in size to the regular iPhone than the iPhone SE. So if you want a small phone that doesn't compromise on performance, well, you're out of options. You might not like the price, you might not like the reused design, you might not like how restrictive iOS is, but as of today, the iPhone SE is the only small phone with serious internals. So, there you have it, my 2 cents on the iPhone SE. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, put it down if you disliked it, and for more videos like this, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you do want to help the channel out, consider changing your Amazon bookmark to one with the affiliate code from the description, and do check out our sponsor Slickwraps via the link in the description. And to see great selfies like these shot in the middle of a video, you can follow me on Instagram at C4eTech. 1.2 megapixels. I can't do this.